WWE 2K24's official reveal has given us even more details that we need to deep dive, talking about all of the different modes, the brand new match types that are coming back into the fold, and we're going to be talking about new features that are coming into the next game. First off, let's talk about Showcase mode. The 40 years of WrestleMania has been confirmed. We're going to be able to have matches like Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin, Hogan, Andre, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, WrestleMania 39, Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte. And to clarify, because a lot of people were even asking me about this, but that is going to be the Showcase mode. There is a separate piece of content that you can get for the 40 years of WrestleMania edition to give you more additional content in the game, but that is separate from just the regular Showcase that you are going to get. The thing with the 2K24 Showcase that I want to note is coming from the WWE website itself, where they talked about how with the 2K24 40 years of WrestleMania, we are getting the return of slingshot tech. So where we go from the live action moments to the actual in-game. I don't like this very much. I think that it's, on one hand, it's very good to have those archived footage video moments, but I'm not a fan of how they've done it in 22 and 23, where it's basically just been go through the live action, watch that, maybe there's a bit of commentary from the wrestler, and then it goes right into the gameplay. I didn't like that because you get generic music. I don't have the commentary. I miss the old showcases like the Attitude Era one where I would get JR and King talking from the match itself, but it was all in-game footage. So I really wish they were going a different approach with this, where it was going to be all gameplay and maybe the commentary from the real match. They also know that there's going to be a host of unlockable content, adds challenge and replay value to this historical experience. We are likely going to see the same stuff or similar stuff, where it's going to be unlock championships, unlock arenas, the WrestleMania arenas, unlock different superstars, legends, alt attires, alt versions of different wrestlers too. What I hope is that there's going to be the replay value. This 40 years of WrestleMania has me very excited for knowing what matches are actually going to come out and what's going to be involved. But I want to see them do a bit more of a challenge in terms of, let me put it on easy or legend, and if I put it on legend difficulty, maybe it gives me different unlockables to achieve. Because once I beat Showcase mode once in 2K23, I was done with it, and I really didn't need to go back. I only had to go back because my saves kept getting corrupted and I had to keep replaying the damn thing. Now the roster we're already getting a good glimpse of, and we're starting to figure out who is going to be in the game. We know that from the announced pre-orders, you're going to be able to get, for the first time ever in the main game, in the main series, you're getting Superstar Billy Graham. We are going to see the return of Dusty Rhodes. We're getting Stardust, and we're getting Undashing Cody Rhodes, all part of the pre-order bonuses, which I feel is really, really strong. Instead of going the route of a celebrity, putting these 4 wrestlers in there, it's different versions of Cody. It's a great incentive for players. The existing Raw, SmackDown, and NXT rosters are also very robust. We didn't see a lot of releases this past year, only a handful, and we're thinking that we're going to see a lot of legends coming in. We already know we're going to see Bret Hart and Austin, Hogan, Andre, everyone from the ad and the commercial. But I think we could see a healthy amount of surprises, legends returning, Dudley Boys, maybe Headbangers, maybe Shamrock, and others. CM Punk has also been coming up. I'm wearing Mr. Punk sweater, but the CM Punk has also been the question mark right now. Is he going to be in the base game? Is he going to be DLC? My prediction, we'll know very soon once the DLC is all announced. We are going to get 5 packs again for DLC this year, but we are kind of expecting Punk to be part of DLC. Because he came in so late back to WWE itself, even Triple H noted that it was a last minute thing. I don't think 2K would have him involved in the showcase at all. People were wondering if we would see his match at WrestleMania against The Undertaker. I don't think we see Punk in the showcase whatsoever. I'd be shocked if we did, but I think that it's likely we would get him added in as late DLC, maybe the final pack. That's my guess. Now, match types and improvements on existing match types. This is where I think 2K is shining right now. We didn't get just one match type that they were marketing, that they were putting all the energy and effort behind, like War Games, and where I felt War Games was a wonderful addition, but after a couple of playthroughs, I didn't want to play War Games all the time. And then I felt like everything else was very much the same from 22. Where I'm very excited here is getting 4 match types. Is it going to please everyone? No, people are always going to complain about not getting something, but I think having a lot of variety, having all of the existing match types that we know from the 2K games, plus ambulance match, casket match, gauntlet match, special referee, all being in there, that's a lot. And that's going to add a lot of replay, and the fact that they're going to be made available in universe mode as well. But they also talk in the press release here that Backstage Brawl is now getting expanded and is now going to feature 4-player support and new interactive environmental elements, including a working elevator, breakable control room glass, real glass, and a vending machine with throwable sodas. So they did talk about, and this popped online, that you're gonna be able to throw weapons this year, which is great. Having the working elevator is interesting because that tells me that we're gonna be able to go through different areas in backstage. We're gonna be able to go maybe up or down the elevator to different levels and enter different parts of the backstage arena, so we're not confined to one singular space. I'm so tired of the one. I never played Backstage Brawl, like ever. I only did it when people came in and they modded it and they made it all weird and wacky, and I could have multiple people in there doing crazy things. But one-on-one Backstage Brawl just was not fun. It was the same area, the same parking lot, and it felt so generic. Now I'm gonna be excited if we can actually throw people through glass windows. It's gonna be able to feel like the old days where I could go in and have crazy arcade fun with the backstage environments. And I hope that they're gonna do a lot more and that it's gonna be even bigger than we expect. Now with the Royal Rumble, it's getting a little bit of an update too. Royal Rumble now offers support for 8 online players in 30 Superstar Online matches. This is great news. This is also worrisome because the online system has never been great. I'm glad they're gonna be able to do 8 online players for the Royal Rumble matches. Just the lobby's got to be fixed and the online system's got to be fixed. So hopefully that's what that means. If it's more stable, yay. So I'm glad that this is there, but it's more of a wait and see for me. And they do talk about how all the traditional WWE 2K match types are there, from War Games, Extreme Rules, TLC, Submission, Hell in a Cell. Many more are also returning. For gameplay upgrades, 2K24 features improvements to gameplay throughout, including super finishers. Could it be Cody Rhodes hitting 3 crossroads? And how you actually do that and implement that in the game is going to be interesting. So I'm glad this is in. Probably be a cool feature. We have to see how it plays out. They also have Trading Blows minigame. So when you got the boo and the yay back and forth with the opponent, that is now going to be an addition as a mini game option. I love that, because if it's mid-match or it's late into the match and it will trigger this mini game, it's realistic, it adds to the simulation experience. It's gonna heighten the experience and hopefully make the matches feel a little bit more special, and it'll also break it up a little bit. Now, unless it's glitched and it starts happening in the first 30 seconds of the match, hopefully it doesn't. So if it totally works, I'm excited that this is gonna be a new feature for gameplay. They've also added top rope dive onto a group of opponents outside of the ring. Now, this is something that the developers mentioned last year that they wanted to be able to implement, and I had wondered maybe this is something we would see in 2K24. Seems like we are. So the idea is you would have multiple opponents standing on the outside of the ring, and you're gonna be able to do a move and be able to crash onto all of them. So if there's gonna be 3 on the outside, presumably I can do a moonsault and hit all 3 on the outside of the ring. I wonder how this is going to be prompted. Is it gonna be prompted with finishers, more of an OMG moment? And what's the match type that's gonna be able to allow this to happen? It's going to be very situational to be able to pull this off, but I'm glad it's in there. Again, more to the simulation experience for 2K. Double title matches are noted as well. This is in the main write-up for 2K's website, where they said for universe mode, double title matches are in universe mode. It's confirmed. This was a big complaint by people, bozos like me, wanting double title matches in universe mode. It only made sense, and it will be in exhibition mode as well. New paybacks are going to be implemented as well, and they're talking about new weapons. Thankfully, we're finally going to get a refresh to the weapon wheel. We're getting updates to this with things like trash cans, guitars, and microphones. Plus, we got the ability, as mentioned earlier, to throw weapons. So being able to throw soda cans, maybe throw the chair, I really love that. I'm really hoping 2K added in the ability to go ringside and grab the title belt during the match, or being able to grab the ring bell that's at ringside, maybe be able to throw that. More weapons, but the update and the refresh to the weapon wheel, sorely needed. That's attention to detail that I'm glad that they're looking at. They also talk about 7 real referees are featured to add to the immersive experience. So we're going to get real WWE referees that we see on TV. They've been scanned and they're going to be added in as optional referees in the game that we can select from male and female. Love this. This makes it authentic. It makes you feel like you are watching and enjoying and playing the WWE product instead of just the same generic referees. The question I will have is, does it all work in universe mode? Problem last year, you wanted to select the SmackDown referee in the SmackDown arena, and it never worked, and they never fixed the referee option. You would always go to default. But I am happy that those referees specifically, they get their time to shine in one of the video games, and it does add another dimension to it. It changes it up, and you can select having the real authentic NXT the real Raw and SmackDown experience across the board. And we get updates for My GM, and this is where I start to get excited learning about the new things that we can expect for My GM and for Universe mode. So they're expanding on My GM. Now, in the initial advertisement, you can see here, you got Tyler Breeze on the cover here for My GM, and right behind him, you have the ECW logo. And this write-up does say that they have new GMs and brands to choose from. Makes me think that we are gonna see Raw, SmackDown, NXT, probably the return of WCW, and the addition of ECW. I don't know if they would add anything else in there, but I'm really happy that we would see ECW and we could actually have more of a Monday Night War and we could have more managers to choose from. If we do get ECW in here, I gotta assume we're gonna get Paul Heyman as a selectable GM. Then I want to see if we're going to get more GMs that we get, maybe Mick Foley, maybe we're going to be able to get Nick Aldis in there too, and more from the past. They brought in Eric Bischoff as a selectable GM last year. Hopefully they're going to keep that going and expand it. Now, they talked about a lot more for My GM. More match types, more dramas, more championships. So right there, happy to hear that they're going to expand this. We got up to fatal 4-way matches in My GM for 23. I think this year we can expect we're going to get up to 6-man matches. Maybe it's all the match types, you never know, but they keep making these improvements to My GM and it's a welcomed addition. More dramas. I don't know what that means. Probably just, I don't know what that means. More dramas. But yay. More championships is great. I hate the limitation of it. I hope it gets revamped so that on the main title selection screen, we select all of our title holders and that we're not just gonna have to play a tag team match to then decide who the tag team champions are. More titles, great. Probably means too that if they are adding in like ECW, that we are gonna see ECW championships added into the game. Talent scouts is interesting. Not knowing what this is going to be exactly, but being able to scout talent from different brands and maybe make offers to them to come over to your brand and sign them. I hope that this is going to be for all wrestlers and not just like the original creations they add in there, but hopefully I can go and scout Roman Reigns and try to see if I can make him an offer to come over and jump brands. There's finally going to be superstar trading between brands too. This is something that I asked for such a long time. I love general manager mode, but I love the old ones where I could go and say, I'm going to trade John Cena for 3 wrestlers or vice versa, so I can get different trades. Hopefully they do the exact same thing where I can select multiple people to try and trade to the other brand. It makes the draft more interesting, and you can see you could really craft the roster that you want. Also, more abilities with superstar contract management. That's a big one for me because I wanted to be able to select somebody like, who knows, Chad Gable, and put Chad Gable on a 1-year contract, and Roman Reigns, I want to put him on a 2-year contract. I didn't like how in 23 it was always like a 5-week deal, no matter who you had. And their contracts, the actual amounts would vary, obviously. But if I want Seth Rollins on a 9-month deal, I want to be able to do that. And they talk about the new superstar journey. This allows superstars to earn XP, train, and level up to gain new benefits after participating in matches. So I hope this has something to do with the whole overall system of the class and being able to see which matches are going to perform better, because I don't like the class system the way it is. If they are going to introduce more of an XP system and like you gain XP, the more matches you have, the better matches you have, maybe that helps determine how well your card performs, the star ratings you get, and everything kind of levels up from there. I don't like that it's set with going to giant versus cruiserweight and that determines how good the match is. Maybe it's speaking to more of an overhaul of that system, which I'd be loving to see. My faction is an interesting one. We're going to talk separately probably about a lot of these modes, and my faction is one of them. So it's back, team building mode, collect your cards, but they're doing some new stuff in here that has piqued my interest. So they have added in a new direct purchase card market and updated multiplayer experience. New direct purchase card market tells me that you're going to be able to go into the marketplace now and buy individual cards. If I want that Scott Steiner Big Papa Pump, this is telling me that there's going to be a marketplace where I could go in and buy that individual card and theoretically have that character model made available to play as. If we're seeing an online market, hopefully that we're going to see something even better where we're going to have the character models unlocked to the exhibition mode. That's the biggest thing for my faction that it needs, that every player has asked for the last 2 years. But this is a nice thing because I could probably just rack up all of my faction points, not spend a dime, save them up, and maybe buy that one card or that one model of Triple H that I really want instead of just buying random packs I can actually get the stuff I want. So if the marketplace can work, I'm here for it. I'm still weary on towers and factions and card collecting stuff and the gambling aspect to it, but if they can do a better job with it, I'm more open minded to see what it is and what they're gonna do. I don't like it. I don't like my faction. I don't like what it does. But if they can make it more open and available and players aren't going to be price gouged and feel like they have to spend real money, then it could work. They also talk about how players can now compete in ranked online quick play with unique rewards and seasonal leaderboards, challenge themselves with weekly towers like we have seen before, take on a revamped Faction Wars 2.0 featuring more real-world factions, more 4v4 match types, a Faction Wars specific reward shop, and more. Faction Wars specific reward shop is good, so that they're separating the 4v4 matches from the single player towers that people play, because it's too much. Like my faction version of this, doing 4v4 matches over and over again, it's chaos. It takes forever. It's a pure slog and a grind. It's not even fun. And so they're separating the rewards for those, which is good, so you won't have the overlap. Now with My Rise, they are giving you 2 stories once again. They're calling this one the Undisputed for the men's and the Unleashed for the women's storylines. You're gonna see voiceover work from people like Roman Reigns, Cody, Mick Foley, and others for the first time, and you're going to see legends and expanded rewards, and they are still going to be doing the unlockables where you unlocked Molly Holly or Raw 2002 Arena last year. You're going to be able to do that again in 2K24. I do like the unlockable aspect of it. Personally, I find My Rise a little too long. I wish they would shorten it up a little bit, but you know what? If they give you more unlockables that are going to be made available in the base game, it's a good way to go through and play that mode. Now, Universe mode, the big one for me, they're doing some things here. It's going to be a wait and see for me to see how well Universe mode turns out. So they are going to have expanded rivalry actions, which we had last year, so you can customize the stories the way you want. You can hit free mode and set up all your rivalries with different story arcs, loser leaves town, or being able to have attacks and all this ambush stuff or whatever you wanted. They're going to add more to that. With those actions, they're including run-ins now. So you're going to be able to select an action item for do a run-in on the opponent with specific cutscenes tied around it. They're also doing that for Money in the Bank cash-ins, which I find interesting because we can do a cash-in mid-match, post-match, or set up ahead of time in Universe with the same cutscenes we're kind of used to at this point. But now they're going to tie it in with rivalry actions, which means it's going to be tied into story. So if they can nail that, that's going to help expand things. They're also doing scenarios and brawls, as well as new cutscenes overall. So they're going to be pumping more into this and more storylines. No mention of promos. Promos in Universe mode, that's a big deal for players, and it's a big deal for me for years not having that in there. My theory is that you're either going to get promos and it's going to be embedded in the rivalry actions in here, or it's not in the game. That's my guess. I think that they are continuing down the road, and they obviously are, with rivalry actions and improving that list. Promos needs to be in there. If it's not in there, I don't see it being in the game. And special guest referee is going to have support. So you're going to be able to have special guest ref matches, which is awesome for Universe mode. Double title matches, once again, are confirmed, yay. And they're doing a loser leaves town stipulation, which is in 2K23 as one of the options for your rivalry. I guess they're just revamping this to make it a little bit bigger, more important, a bigger deal. But it's already in there to be able to select. I guess they're just going to be changing it. Now for Creation Suite, they've added a few little things in here, but they are going to be doing an all new support for create a referee and create a sign. You're going to be able to create your own original referees. You're also going to be able to create the referee attires for the in-game roster. So to give LA Knight and John Cena, Randy Orton different looks for their special referee attire, you're going to be able to do that. And creating original crowd signs is a plus. You have certain wrestlers that, Dolph Ziggler, for example, not with the company. If his crowd signs were not in the game still, then we're going to be able to, I assume, download rendered images, download the assets, the logos, and then create our signs and logos that way, which is really cool. They're also adding in new parts and animations to design custom superstars, general managers, arenas, entrances, movesets, championships, and more. Adding to the Creation Suite, great news. sorely needed for all the areas of community creations. And the creation community themselves, they need these tools. They need way more access, and they need way more at their disposal with updated things like updated arena parts, different logos, more hairstyles is always a big request from people online. They need more and not seeing the same generic ones all the time. But 2K24, they revealed a lot with all the additions, all the details with the trailer. So if you guys want, click this video because it is the full trailer reveal breakdown, everything you need to know from the original trailer coming out. Have a great day. If you guys enjoy the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.